Hello everyone, my name is Michael, and in this video I'll be talking about 3 ways in which you can actually switch on and off your computer. Alright, now the first one is gonna be by a flip of a switch, the second one is gonna be by voice control, and the last one is gonna be by using your phone. Alright, so all the 3 ways are actually made possible by a very simple component. And actually, before we dive into the 3 ways, I'm gonna introduce to you the components that actually makes it very possible. Alright, so now when we look at what's in the box here, we can see that the first thing we're gonna find in the box is that this is a switch here that is you can use for you to actually turn on and off your computer. And the second one here, you can see here we have small antennas here that actually increase the range of the signal itself here. And the last thing we have here is actually the component itself. The component itself has 4 important parts. The first part is gonna be the antenna itself. So this is where you actually plug in the antennas for you to increase the signal or the quality of the signal. And the second part is actually the PCI plug-in. Actually, this is where you actually plug in into the PCI, and you are able to the component is actually able to receive the power for it to actually run. And we also have the third part, which is actually these 2 cables here. And from the cables here, we can see that these 2 cables have power SW here, and this actually cable here is plugged into the motherboard, and this cable is actually plugged into the switch that comes from the computer box itself here. And the fourth part is gonna be this part here. As you can see here, there's like a small switch here, there's like a small button here. Now this button is actually very important, in that if you wanna change the remote, you don't want to use one of these remote here, you can actually reset this component to actually work with a custom remote of your choice. Now this is done by actually pressing this button for about 15 seconds, and hence you are able to actually connect to the remote of your choice. There are actually a few things that we actually have to bear in mind before we do the installation. Now when you look at my computer here, my computer has 2 PCI slots. So the first one is the PCI EX16, and we also have the PCI EX1. So basically is that if you plug in this component into the PCI EX16, it does not work, and it can only work into the PCI EX1. So in this case, I'm gonna plug it into the PCI EX1, and after a complete setup here, this is how it should actually look from the outside here. And the last part that we're gonna actually install or plug in is actually these 2 power cables here. And the first thing that we're gonna do is that we have to unplug one of the power cables that are actually been plugged in from the switch that powers up the computer into the motherboard. So I'm gonna unplug out that cable here, and this is the cable here, and we can see that actually the cable itself has similar labels on it. It's also written power SW here, and we have to actually plug in this cable into the power switch here that comes from that comes out from this box here, computer box here, and plug in this one that comes from the components itself into the motherboard here. So as you can see here from the component here, we can see that actually there's a light that is actually blinking here. Now this light actually is the one that helps you or connects you to a Xiaomi Play, and a Xiaomi Play is going to act as a gateway from the voice control of your phone to the command of this computer here. So now I'm sure you have observed the blue light, and the blue light actually is the one that gives us access to voice command. Now how does actually voice command works on this component? Basically it works through a gateway called Xiaomi Play, and in this case in which you have to download an application called Xiaomi Home, and these components actually can work in correspondence with each other. Now when you look at Xiaomi Play, Xiaomi Play is like we can call it an Apple HomePod, and which actually is able to receive voice commands through Siri, and also Xiaomi Play has a voice command called Xiao Ai Tong Shui, and this one is actually designed by This one is actually designed by Xiaomi, and you can actually, based on the type of phone that you are using, if you are using your phone and you have an application on your iPhone, if you are using an iPhone and you have an application of Xiaomi Home on your phone, you can actually download and then link Xiaomi Play as a gateway for it to actually control this component, which is actually able to receive commands and then transfer it to the computer itself here. Now the way it works actually is it's actually based on the Wi-Fi connection of your home. Now when you have Xiaomi Play will connect to this component here, and when it connects to this component here, Xiaomi Play will also connect to the network that is running around your home, which is a Wi-Fi connection. So at each and every particular range, or as long as you are connected to the Wi-Fi connection, you are able to actually give a voice command or command to your computer. You can actually just as long as your phone is actually connected to the Wi-Fi connection that is connected to the Xiaomi Play, you can actually set timers, and you can also use your phone, use Siri to actually command the phone through the gateway of Xiaomi Play to actually turn on and actually turn off your computer. So it's actually a very convenient way of actually turning on and turning off your computer.